Okay, there we go. Because I wasn't sure if this thing was recording yet, child. Welcome to another episode of TDGS Reviews. I am your humble host, Darren Green, back with another series episode. You already know what this is. This is Kandi the Gang. We're going to get into it. We're going to timeline the whole show. But before we get into it, please be sure to give this video a like. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And leave a comment because I want to, y'all don't be commenting. I be seeing y'all be watching it, but y'all don't be commenting. What's going on? Tell me how you feel. Tell me if you like what you're seeing and whatnot and what have you. Yeah, I just ran upstairs because I had to get water. But let's get into it. So, episode 3. Not sure what the title is. Yeah, I literally just got done watching it too. Like, I did not watch it last night because there was a lot going on last night. I was not home until like 10 o'clock. And yeah, I just had to get into some things. Now, my first thoughts with this episode, it was on the dry side a little bit. I'm going to be real honest. Like, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, like what it was supposed to give. I don't know. It didn't grab my attention that much as the first 2 episodes. But there are moments in the episodes I was like, okay, yeah, cool. We got a little bit more of Torian in the beginning. It left off with the argument between Torian and Philip. And, Philip was not backing down. Philip is not developing with these characters. He's not trying to he's not trying to really get their plight with things. Like, he's just like, I'm the boss. Y'all just better listen to me or you're getting fired. And to a certain extent, I think that's that's what the restaurant needs right now. Like I said in previous episodes, they need a shakeup, but I do think that he's doing a little bit too much. So, Torian, Kandi comes in and, checks on everybody, checks on everything. And Torian tells Kandi what's up. Like, he is doing too much and I'm tired of his mess. Now, when Kandi talked to Philip, which was very interesting because they had a little dialogue, he was saying like, well, he has to answer to you. Like, I can't manage him or whatever, right? And that's when Kandi kind of gets snippy with Philip, child. Okay. I mean, look, here's the thing. It's clear that, apparently things is being run at Blaze. When he was working at Blaze, things wasn't an issue. I guess he has a little bit more freedom. And a lot of people probably listen to him a little bit more over there in Blaze. Whereas I don't know, I just feel like he doesn't want to work here. Like, I feel like he wants to work back at Blaze and he's kind of lashing out and, let me just be this crazy tyrant so that Kandi can just take me back to Blaze or whatever because I don't want nothing to do with this. But at the same time, you're on a show, so the show ain't about Blaze, so it's about OLG. So on the other hand, he probably wants that exposure. But I don't know. Like, he's just like, Kandi kind of got into it. It's like, at the end of the day, we hired you to manage these people, right? And you telling me that you're not gonna manage someone just because you got into a not an altercation, but a little argument with him, is kind of unprofessional. And I think Kandi was right on that part because at the end of the day, like, he started that situation with Torian. Like, Torian was just doing his thing, and then he sat there and was like, "Oh, well, you need to answer to me this and third." Like, I think Philip has a control issue, and it's like he needs to control the environment every time. And it's like you're not going to get that with these people, especially if you're talking to them and treating them like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to get nowhere around. Like, people will, like, they're going to show you their ass, and it's not going to change unless you try to find a way to work with these people. At the end of the day, these are adults and you're talking to them like they're kids. Like, this is a school. It makes no sense. And everybody want to sit there and be like, oh no, what's the name is right. Philip is right. No, child, y'all just like him. Okay, calm down. And we get a little clip of Torian. Like I said, this is the Torian show in the beginning because we seen nothing but him. He helps Patrick decorate his apartment, which was, like I said, a throwaway scene. I didn't really care about it. Patrick, he's not a character I really care about. Like, it's good that he's around because, we found out about his little Safari. We found out who Safari really is and what she does, child. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But I mean, other than that, I really don't care about Patrick and Melvin, to be honest. Like, they're not giving it to, they're just not. I don't know. But tell me what y'all think in the comments. Now, It cuts back to them going back to the restaurant, and the staff is being unprofessional as usual. Brandon is doing nothing. He's on his phone, talking, eating. Okay, eating on the job, child. Dominique is hours late, so they ain't got no liquor. They ain't got no drinks. Okay. And what I seen was what I was able to, like, Chandrika and Brian were doing their thing. Like, they were trying their best at, managing the restaurant as best way as they can, which is so weird that what happens to Brandon towards, or not Brandon, Ryan towards the end is weird. Chandrika lets Philip know that Brandon is not doing nothing. He's sitting there, he's on his phone, he's not managing, he's not taking authority. Nothing is going on with that one. Okay. So that causes, Philip to rip into Brandon. And Brandon's like, I'm not the authoritative. So I'm like, so what are you doing? Like, what is your main purpose at this establishment? You can't just be sitting down. And I get it, like, he's a manager. He doesn't do physical stuff, but he makes sure he oversees things, but you're not overseeing anybody. You're not telling people. You need to be calling Dominique like, girl, if you don't get your ass in this damn restaurant. And I also feel like they need to hire more people. But see, I don't think anyone do that. Because Kandi, Mr. Krabs child. She is definitely cheap as hell. She ain't gonna hire no more people, but I think they need to hire more people, because I think that's the main problem. I think a lot of people, are working these hours because they're the only ones that, because I believe Dominique is the only bartender, and then I guess some of them will bartend as, but see, we learned a little bit more about Ryan and how he doesn't want to be around liquor because he has like a drinking problem. So it's like, he's not trying to be in that. Chandrika just a hostess. At the end of the day, they need to have more people, especially if they're going to be doing a show. Like, people are worried about being seen and having moments than really working. Let's be very clear. So it just makes sense that they have more staff, more behind the scenes staff. We did see a little bit of them, but like I said, a lot of them were hosted. So yeah, Philip rips into Brandon, and we see, like, later on in that episode, Brandon seems like something done changed, child, because he started being more authoritative and having meetings and stuff like that and telling people what to do. The show then cuts to another staff hangout. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like the reason why I'm not really vibing with this episode is doing the same thing as episode 2. Like, okay, they do some stuff, they get into the the business, and then they get in some kind of spat between the manager. It has to be some type of change. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not feeling the show. I don't know. Child, maybe like Derek said, child, in the last episode, child, I'm the only one watching it. But yeah, they go on a hangout, and that's when Patrick tells people about his housewarming party or whatever. Chandrika is invited, which is weird because she brought her little new boo thing there, and Patrick and the guy got into it before. And yeah, like, that's weird, but we'll circle back at that when we get to Safari, Patrick's girlfriend. And we got a little backstory with Ryan. He has a drinking problem. He has a drug and drinking problem. He got emotional in his confessionals, and I felt bad. Like, I feel like he's really going through stuff, and people are not really seeing it. And maybe it's, seeping through his work. That's why he's not, able to do his best, and people just don't understand it, or not, they don't care. But like I said, Brandon was definitely, doing what he needed to be doing. The only problem I have with Brandon, he's very selective when it comes to, doing his job. Because, okay, at one point, he's over here eating at the bar, eating and drinking. That was in the beginning scene. Then he came for Rashad and Brian for doing the same. First of all, they weren't even eating; they were just sitting down. Just and look. In retrospect, at the end of the day, I ain't never been to a restaurant where hostesses, waiters, or whatever you want to call them, we're just sitting down. Okay, you are up from the time you clock in to the time you clock out. I ain't never see, and if you do see them, they're not in a room, in a space where people are there, manager and employee. Okay, it doesn't matter. Like, I never seen no manager sit down. So for Brandon to sit there and say, "Oh, I'm the manager, I can do certain things," like, no, like, you want these people to listen to you, but at the end of the day, you got to play by the rules as well. And if they see that you're not playing by the rules fair, then they're not gonna listen to you. So that's exactly what you got with Ryan. But you got mad and you told Philip, and that's when we had this little pointless conversation. Because at the end of the day, like, Brian was not saying what his little response to him saying, "Oh, well, you gonna push my chair in or what is it?" It didn't make any sense that they like escalated this to him essentially getting suspended. You know, he talked to Philip about it, and Don Juan had Philip, Brandon, and Brian sit down and talk about what had happened. Philip get to talking, child. When Philip get to talking, he start pissing people off, and people ain't going like at the like at the end of the day, I just seen it coming. So Philip ended up suspending him. You know, and he gets an attitude. He gets a real big attitude with Don Juan because he felt like because Don Juan was trying to tell him, like, at the end of the day, yes, like, he was definitely being disrespectful. And I will say, Brian was a little over the edge. However, did it warrant a suspension? You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, what he said to Brandon, I don't know if I don't know if production cut anything that he said. He did not say nothing out the way. So this whole situation should have not been a thing. But whatever, it was a thing. They had to make some type of TV moment. Him and Don Juan gets into it, and then like Philip essentially just walks out. The boy just walks out, and then I guess was on the phone or talking to somebody, talking about how, oh yeah, they're being, all of them is being unprofessional. Talk about Don Juan. I'm just like, what? It's a mess. It's a mess at this damn establishment. I think they're gonna need that dude from Bar Rescue because at the end of the day, y'all. This restaurant is so unprofessional, child. Anyway, in the midst of all this, we switch to a scene with Patrick and I guess Safari, the girl. So she does body sculpting, that thing that everybody be doing now, where they just put the little thing on your stomach so you can get smaller, or the little suction on your butt so it can get a little bigger. That bullshit, child. Okay, yeah. So I guess he went there because he wanted to lose some weight. But at the end of the day, she was over here talking about something. Oh, well, I do some interior decorating too. Like, and I feel like, that boy that you got shouldn't be decorating your apartment. I think I should be. I'm like, girl. And then the camera, and when I tell you that is Bravo production because the way they pan the camera, like all that shit look like it came from Five and Below. Okay, don't want to talk about, oh boy, so you don't need no interior decorated child. Yes, he does. Not with you. So yeah, they talk about how he's having a housewarming party, and I'm kind of seeing what Torrin said in the beginning because, like, okay, in the beginning I forgot to tell y'all this, but he wanted like some type of dominatrix toy closet or whatever where we can have all his toys, whatever. And then he said, well, Patrick like to be tied up, like he likes to be dominated or whatever. The way that girl got him together was like, you not invited some drug in here. That's inappropriate. And he was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna disinvite her. I'm like, chow, you is whipped, okay. Anyway, cuts to, like I said, because the Patrick scenes weren't that interesting to me. Like, that was the only thing I wanted to take out of that scene. Chandrika gives the old lady gang some water aerobic lessons, child, and they were doing their little thing. Aunt Bertha was not here for it. They got to talking though. After they was done, they got to talking. They was talking about Philip and how you know, that he suspended Brian and Kandi. My thing is, Kandi, how you not know? Do you not get let know? Like, yo, so I'm gonna let you know that I'm suspending Brian right now because he's wilding. Like, how she know? She the last person to find out, child. I'm like, you are not here in your business, Kandi. You are not here. I don't know where you are. You act like this is a franchise. A mess. A mess. One other thing that happened, and that was, I guess, the last little sequence. We seen where Torian meets Brian, and they have like a little conversation. And we found out that Brian's sister actually committed suicide, and they found out that she did it with, I guess, she was drinking a lot. And it's kind of foretelling for him, like this lit a fire under his ass to be like, I gotta stop doing this, I gotta stop drinking, and doing drugs and stuff like that. So he, is not. I love that moment that he had with Torin. Like, I felt like it was a real wholesome moment. That was the first time we really got to be like, oh, I really be feeling for Brian. Overall, like I said, this episode is gonna be a quick episode. This is gonna be a quick episode for the series, child, because it didn't bring it. Like, it's the same thing every episode. That's what it's looking like. They're just arguing over, oh, this person not doing that. I'm gonna kick this person out, and I'm gonna have a little temper tantrum. We get a temper tantrum from Philip, and then the coworkers be talking about Philip behind his back. Then can't like it seems like something is going to pick up next episode because Kandi and Todd are going to confront Chandrika and all the stuff that she's been saying behind closed doors about about OLG. And then there was something else that was happening, but like I said, this episode just didn't do it for me. It was very dry. It just wasn't what it needed to be, and they're really going to have to bring it if they want to do another season. So I don't know, but tell me what y'all think in the comments, and I'm gonna end it here. Until next time, I am your host, Aaron Green, and this is TDJS Reviews, signing out.